Let's talk about former Chiefs coach Dick Vermeil officially being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Chiefs signing another receiver to the 90-man roster, then look at some standout plays and players from today's practice, Saturday, August 6th, highlighting some players who have been quiet, but are now starting to make some noise here as we get closer to the start of preseason, and much freaking more. But first, how about those?
Hello, everybody. I see everybody over here. Nice. I'm here. Thank you.
What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the red-bearded town crier of the kingdom, or sometimes known as the lean, clean, red-beard machine, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub if you're new to make your entire day, week, or most likely year. Hit that like button if you're more ready for this season than Russell Wilson was to say, let's ride.
Let's ride.
And let's get into this video starting with some Hall of Fame news, as today, Dick Vermeil became the first, second, third Chiefs head coach in history to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, joining Marv Levy and Hank Stram. Though he'll enter the Hall of Fame as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles, Vermeil is still remembered for his time with the Chiefs 17 years after spending his final coaching chapter in Kansas City. Vermeil had retired for the second time in 1999 with the St. Louis Rams after leading them to a Super Bowl dub, yet found himself back in the NFL once again in 2001, coaching the Chiefs, retiring for the third and final time in 2005 after 5 seasons in Kansas City and a 44-36 overall record. And sadly, he was never able to make a deep playoff run with the Chiefs or anything like that, but I've always respected and admired him as a coach and a person, and I would be an absolute idiot if I didn't mention this great accomplishment of Vermeil and at least offer up a much-earned congratulations to the legend himself. All right, moving on to current-day Chiefs, I want to make note that the Chiefs signed another receiver to their 90-man roster. His name is Devin Gray, quite possibly Noah Gray's cousin, though I cannot confirm that right now until I perform a DNA test. And he was a UDFA in 2018 out of the University of Cincinnati. He spent a few seasons with the Falcons, then part of the 2021 season with the Baltimore Ravens, before playing most recently in the USFL with the Philadelphia, can't say that word, Stars. He's 27 years old, 5'11", 187 pounds, and also has experience as a punt returner, which is something interesting to note. And honestly, I have no idea what the Chiefs' plans are with this man, but hey, look, another receiver added to an already very deep receiving room. So, woohoo! From here, let's take a look at today's injury report, and then we'll move into practice, highlighting players and plays and all that good stuff. But injury report is this. Both Rashad Fenton and Lucas Niang remain on the active PUP list, and tight end Jody Fortson is out as well, still nursing that quad injury. Coach Reed said it's not a bad injury, but enough of one that they're keeping him out and monitoring his progress. He should be back at it soon, hopefully next week. Then wide receiver Gary Jennings is still in concussion protocol after suffering a concussion during a collision in the indoor practice on Wednesday. And a new injury on this list is defensive tackle Taylor Stallworth, who Andy Reid referred to as like Taylor Stallingsworth or something like that.
Stallingworth has a knee contusion.
He has a knee contusion, aka a bruise on his knee that has to freaking hurt. And then wide receiver DeRuse Fountain has missed the last few practices with a groin injury, but was seen back in action today, so that was good news, until he slowly walked off the field during the install period. At first, I thought he must maybe still be struggling with that groin injury, but no, he actually injured one of his fingers. So Andy Reid said he's going to get an x-ray on it soon to determine the severity of the injury. So yeah, keep eyes out for that, and that's indeed a tough break for Fountain, who is fighting for that 5th or 6th spot on the receiver depth chart. All right, as far as highlights and standouts go, let's look at the defensive side of the ball first. Zach Eisen noted that, quote, the Chiefs are trying different combinations on the defensive line. The flexibility of this group will be something to watch during the season. Guys like Dunlap, Karlaftis, and Dana can kick inside, while Jones and Wharton can go outside. And hopefully Jones and Wharton don't go outside very often, but versatility may raise the ceiling. Yeah, this is something I've talked about a bit on the channel here before, with the idea in particular that Karlaftis could kick inside with Jones, while Clark and Dunlap are on each edge. Definitely interesting and something worth watching to see if the defense tries that at all. I think Spags will. Here's what I feel like they really need to do. They need to take a look at the weakest little man on that other line, on the O-line from the opposing team, and put Chris Jones against that man and let him feast. And speaking of Chris Jones, here's a clip of the man himself driving Joe Thuney back into next week on this 1v1 rep. Joe Thuney is elite at the left guard position, but Jones is elite as well, so that's a fun battle to monitor, certainly. And probably the standout player of the day, today on defense at least, was cornerback Trent McDuffie, who blanketed one deeper target to JuJu on the sideline, giving absolutely nowhere to complete it with trailing leverage. Great coverage by the rookie here, and then he could be seen again right where he needed to be with this pass breakup on Mecole Hardman. So there we freaking go. Trent McDuffie making plays, which is a very welcome sight for someone the Chiefs traded up to grab in the first round of this year's draft. McDuffie shared about the importance it is for him to finish his coverage on routes and fight through the adversity today during his presser.
Getting to this point of the camp, I think a big thing for me is just finishing. You know, everything doesn't go perfect, and I may mess up at the line of my technique or at the top of the route, but being able to fight through that adversity and finish at on the ball at the end of the play, I think is something I'm working hard at, and something that you saw out there today is just something I'm trying to do each and every day.
McDuffie is still adjusting to the speed of the game thus far, which is the biggest thing he's noticed going from college to the NFL. And even though he hasn't yet played in an actual game, going against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' fast-paced offense is certainly helping McDuffie prepare for this season.
Honestly, I think the biggest thing is just the athleticism of the game. Everybody out here is athletic. Everybody's fast. Everybody can catch the ball. And going against this offense, you know, is always difficult, especially for a young DB coming over. But I feel like I'm getting the hang of it, and I feel like it's going to help me tremendously moving on throughout the year.
Coach Reed also spoke highly of McDuffie during his presser today, basically confirming to me that this man is about as ready as he can be for the preseason.
He's making plays. He's also, when he's not getting the play, he's about that far off. So he's at least in position to make things happen. For a young guy, that's pretty good stuff. We can work with that.
And on the subject of the secondary, Juan Thornhill spoke to the media today, doubling down on his upcoming All-Pro season that he's declared he's going to have.
I feel like the past year I just wasn't as confident in my ability because of the fact that I was struggling with the knee. So I would say that the knee is healthier. I have more mental clarity. I feel better all around. I just feel like that I'm back to myself and I'm capable of having that all-pro season. So I'm definitely here to back up whatever I said, and I'm not taking that back.
So yeah, I'm glad the knee is all good. So let's go Juan Thornhill. He was then asked about the rookies in the secondary and how he personally feels they are all progressing.
I know that it takes time to pick up on that playbook because Spag's defense is it's not a joke. So I think the guys are doing a heck of a job. I mean, it shows that they're studying. They're making a lot of plays on the ball. They're not making a lot of mistakes on the field, and then that's the main thing, is just that they're playing with confidence.
Well, great. We love to hear that from the old veteran Juan Thornhill himself. And then linebacker Darius Harris. I almost said Darius Kennard. That would be a weird combo. Could be seen playing pretty aggressive today at practice, making several good tackles, including a hit on Justin Watson with a bit more force than Justin Watson anticipated. And Watson made sure to let that man know he didn't like that. Probably saying something like, hey man, you know in this sport you're supposed to hit guys? Yeah, well, don't hit me like that because it's only practice, dude. And then the newly added Carlos Dunlap could be seen practicing today, albeit not fully participating, but again, he's getting acclimated and of course still getting a feel for things in Spags' rather complex defense. You can see him here working against Jerron Christian in a rep, and then Nick Jacobs said that Wiley could be seen getting the best of Dunlap, and while Wiley was getting some good W's on Dunlap, Ron Kopp Jr. noted that Karlaftis was exploding off the ball and giving Andrew Wiley all he could handle on every snap, powering through that outside shoulder to make Mahomes at least uncomfortable on a few throws. Given a full go, he might have been able to hit the ball as it was released at least one time. So yeah, that's nice. Great freaking job, George. And here's a clip of Karlaftis getting some one-on-one reps against Orlando Brown Jr., with the first rep trying to go inside, the next outside. And you can see rookie George is looking good and certainly looking hungry. And then here's a clip of Frank Clark trying the same on Orlando, trying to go inside, then trying this little spin move. And I don't know, I guess it worked, maybe, sort of, kind of, not really. And then let's switch to the offensive side of the ball for a bit here, as PJ Green mentioned Derek Gore and Jerick McKinnon could be seen taking some snaps with the ones in team. Therefore, the running back rotation continues like a revolving door. Then here's a quick clip of Henne handing the ball off to Pacheco in 9v7s. Pacheco's one that continues to stand out for a few different reasons that I've discussed in detail in previous videos, if you want to check that out. And Coach Reed is definitely happy with his progress so far.
I think the things you're guaranteed if he's going to run hard. And that's what he's going to do. Will he have to learn the different schemes and how they work against certain defenses, and at times be patient, and that he'll learn that. He's a good catcher. so he can catch the football. The rest of all that we can work with, and he's doing that now.
Then here's a nice little catch on the run by CEH here as Mahomes gently lofts one up to him. Then CEH responds with a nice little juke, who would have then taken it to the house. Nice work by Clyde Edwards-Helaire here. I do hope we see a lot of that this upcoming season, as CEH himself has said he's one of the best pass catching backs in the league, and I would really like to see him put his money where his mouth is this season, 100%, because we need it. 2020 first round draft pick, live up to it, let's go. Big Red said he's happy with the progress the running back room has made thus far and is particularly happy with the overall depth of the room.
I like it. Again, I'm curious to see those guys and compete in games. We know a couple of them because they've been here, and we're learning about the other two. So it looks like a good group.
And here's a few O-line clips featuring Creed is good, yes, but also an unmovable statue on the line as he goes up against Derek Nottie. Orlando Brown Jr. could be seen looking nice and quick-like out there, and I've seen comments from multiple sources that Orlando's trimmed down roughly 10 pounds and looking quicker off the line than ever. Quote, Orlando's always had a quick first step, but his jump off the snap was preventing Frank Clark from getting much of a step on him on his pass rush. His lighter physique may have improved that first step even further. Nick Jacobs says he was, quote, really impressed with Orlando Brown today in the one-on-one drill. The weight loss has helped him tremendously with his foot quickness. So that's great to hear about Orlando Brown Jr. Thank God he signed his tag. And a quick look at the tight end room, since we're talking offense now, reveals Noah Gray had another standout practice as Matt McMullen reported that during one of the Chiefs' 2-minute drills, Noah Gray had 4 receptions in an 8-play series. So that's pretty noteworthy if you ask the Beard. Matt then said it was Gray's performance that stood out as the main takeaway on offense, and that made for another solid day for him, as he was also seen making multiple catches during 7-on-7 drills as well. Nice. From here, let's talk wide receivers for a bit, because it looks like wide receiver Josh Gordon had himself a good day, which is very much needed for the guy at this point, to say the least. Tucker Franklin said Josh Gordon made a big play as he hailed in a deep ball TD during 7-on-7, and I think that's the first highlight he's made all camp. Well, yes, Tucker, I think you are right. That is one of the first highlights I can recall of Josh Gordon this training camp. PJ Green said Josh Gordon is having a pretty good day at practice, caught some passes in team, and a nice deep route in 7-on-7. And as a man that's fighting for a spot on the roster, that's great news for him indeed. And then here's a great out route by Skyy Moore, giving a little shimmy to the inside before quickly peeling off to the sideline. A nice route and snag by Skyy, and honestly a near perfect ball by Henne here, if we're going to be honest. Then here's another clip of Skyy, this time though on an end around, as he continues to showcase more ways in which the future Swiss Army knife can be used in this offense. Now, let's focus in on Mecole Hardman, because this man had himself a very nice practice. For example, here's a great route from Mecole with Snead in coverage, in which Snead was indeed not ready for the direction change. Great route running from Hardman here. Mecole also had an insane grab against a lost Nazeeh Johnson in coverage, but regardless of Johnson's internal GPS malfunctioning here on this play, this is an absolutely incredible snag by Mecole, who seems to have channeled his spirit animal, his inner Randy Moss, for this one. Would you just freaking look at it? And Mecole was actually asked about this exact play at practice, and his answer was a bit of an odd one.
I really didn't want to touch the ground, man. Kind of like, if a cat falls or something, a cat, you drop a cat, they don't want to fall, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of that, you ever seen Cats the musical? You ever seen that? You seen that? Listen, that's kind of like how I felt out there, honestly.
I'm not sure what the guy was really trying to say here, but I give it an E for effort at the very least. Anyway, now that Mecole is one of the vets on the team, he's been enjoying the process of helping the other guys in the room get used to the plays, the offense, schemes, all that good stuff.
It's definitely, a nice role to have, and just to bring those guys along and try to make them more comfortable as we go out here for this camp and everything. But yeah, I definitely have them get some questions, and I just, do the best I can to, answer those questions for those guys.
Mecole was then asked about how it feels getting some reps out there in Wildcat, and he said it's nothing too unfamiliar, as it brings him back to his days in high school when he did play some quarterback. And because of that answer, the follow-up question was basically, Mecole, if you had to, would you be willing to throw it while you had the ball in your hands?
I think the more right question would it be a spiral? I think I can get it there. That's accurate, but will it be pretty? I don't know.
Well, I hope it would be a spiral, because Even I can throw a spiral, and I've had 2 shoulder surgeries on my throwing arm. Thankfully, though, it doesn't matter because Mecole is a receiver, and one that I reported had 0 drops during yesterday's practice. So he's certainly showing out recently at camp in particular, and based on his performance the last couple of days, if that is how he plans on playing this season, then I'm ready for it. So let's freaking go. Mecole, whatever your middle name is, Hardman. And before I leave the subject of the receiving room, I got to touch on JuJu Smith-Schuster here because while McDuffie had a good pass breakup against him earlier, he still continues to shine and show probably the most rapport with Mahomes outside of Travis Kelce himself, and is still currently projected to be the clear wide receiver 1 this season. In my opinion, yes, but also many others, including Zach Eisen, who tweeted out today saying, "Get used to Mahomes to JuJu." That connect has been lethal during Chiefs training camp. JuJu is clearly wide receiver 1 and will get over 1,000 yards this season. Book it. Well, okay then, Zach Eisen. Let's freaking book it. JuJu for 1,000+ yards in 2022. Let's go. What did you guys think about today's practice? Are you excited about Josh Gordon making some splashes, trying to climb his way, fight for that wide receiver 5 or 6 spot? What about Trent McDuffie breaking passes up like relationships in middle school? Did you guys enjoy Hardman's little Randy Moss moment? What do you think about him in this upcoming season? Let me know your thoughts on all of this because I just asked 55 questions in the comments down below, and let's fight about it down there per usual, like toddlers over Tinker Toys. Make sure to leave a bearded comment or a super thanks to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Like this video right freaking now if you haven't already because Redbeard said so. Then check out this video here, pew pew, from RGR, which features video highlights from the past week of training camp. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?